Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. Today I decided that I was going to do a quick review of the language arts workbooks that we are using. Simply because I know that a lot of people spend an arm and a leg on language arts curriculum, and a lot of times besides spending an arm and a leg on them, they are very, very time consuming. We have been using these language arts books pretty much since the beginning that we started homeschooling. We have not used them all the way through. We have kind of stopped and started, as the seasons go. You know how homeschooling is, it kind of ebbs and flows. And actually, we were using for the longest time dailygrams, which I also highly recommend, which is a lot more basic and a lot more simplified. One of my older kids, though, asked if we could start doing a language arts that was a little bit more detailed because she wanted a little more practice than what she was getting from dailygrams. So I went back to these language arts books because, again, I used these in the beginning when we very first started homeschooling. And in fact, I used these the first 2 years that we homeschooled. And when I burned out and sent my kids back to school for those 2 terrible years, my kids excelled in school, not just in language arts, but in all areas. But these were so helpful with them. My kids, those dreaded standardized tests that kids have to take in school, my kids scored advanced in them, and these were so helpful with that. So first of all, now they're called Flash Kids. Language arts books. They're made by Harcourt Family Learning. And all of these, now what I have here are second grade, fourth, fifth, and sixth, because that is what we are using at this point in time. And I have all of them here just so that I can give you a flip through of each one, if you have a child in one of these grade levels. Now, I do have to say that the sixth grade one, I actually have a couple of my kids who are not in sixth grade using the sixth grade language arts one, simply because I had a hard time finding the ones in upper grade levels. But there's plenty of material in here that is good enough for above grade 6. So all of these books, no matter what grade they are, I'll just compare grade 6 and grade 2. They all contain grammar, punctuation, vocabulary, writing, and research, obviously on different levels. Now, what I like about these books is that they are very colorful. They are very engaging for the kids. And if you take notice, now I'm in the grade 2 one here. So it goes over parts of speech, sentences, mechanics, vocabulary and usage, writing, and research skills. And all of these are, they're in the grade 2 language arts workbook. And these are actually the same. Let me show you the fifth grade one. It's the same things in the table of contents for each grade level. So it really does cover each area. It's the same. See, notice again, parts of speech, sentences, mechanics, vocabulary and usage, writing, and research skills. Obviously, they're going to be covering different things for different grade levels, but they all get the same basic branches of language arts in each workbook. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through. So now what I usually do with my kids is this is one of those areas that I do one-on-one with each one of my kids, unless they feel that they don't need my help. Some of my older kids just kind of zip through it without me. But with my younger kids, I will usually sit down with them and I will read to them the directions or the explanation in the yellow box. And I will sit there with them as they complete the exercises and help them as needed. And it is very quick, but it is also really helping my kids to understand a lot of things that they were having a more difficult time remembering with the dailygrams. I think that having the additional practice is good for them. I think that dailygrams is good for kids who have already had sort of a foundation in language arts. I'm learning this now. Well, dailygrams is more grammar rather than all language arts. But I think that for the kids who haven't really had a solid foundation in language arts, these workbooks are, again, quick, but they are thorough. So, and as you can see, we've got proper nouns, practice with proper nouns, names and titles of people and animals. Here we have names of special places, days of the week, months, and holidays. And obviously, I'm not going to page through every single one, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like inside of these. Now, as you can tell, we haven't gotten very far in these language arts workbooks because we don't do the language arts workbook every day. If my kids are doing a lot of writing in their fun schooling journals, then I don't have them work in this for that day. Or if we are doing a language arts related activity for our unit study, they don't do that. Then what we have this for is for those days when we are not covering language arts any other way. So now this section here that I'm paging through is, I just want to take a look. Okay, this is the parts of speech section. And I'll just show you what each section looks like. So practice using is or are, using run, runs, or ran. More adjectives that compare. Okay, now we are in a new section. You can tell because it's a different color heading at the top. So what we have here now, this section, this unit is on sentences. So then they are going to start in sentence structure. So here we have practice with sentences, naming parts of sentences, joining sentences, beginning sentences in different ways. So as you can see, they are getting a comprehensive education in language arts just through this $7 workbook. It is so worth it. Here we're starting the mechanics unit. So we have writing names of people, writing initials, writing titles of books, stories, and poems, writing names of holidays, question marks, exclamation points, and apostrophes, practice with question marks, exclamation points, and apostrophes, commas, using commas in place names. And now we're in a new unit. Now I'm skipping pages just so that you don't think that these units are like really short. I'm kind of skipping pages as I'm going through. I'm not going through every single page. Next, we are at vocabulary and usage, and it starts with rhyming words. Then we have antonyms, more synonyms and antonyms, troublesome words, compound words. And as you can see, this says more troublesome words. And when it does that, it's because they're giving you additional practice in certain areas. Like see here, we started with troublesome words, and then on the other side is more troublesome words. See, this one here is more homophones, and it started out here with just homophones. So it gives you additional practice in the areas that might take a little bit longer to learn. We have compound words here. More compound words, prefixes, and then we come to the writing unit, and then we start that with writing sentences. So again, they are getting more practice in writing sentences because we did have that entire unit on sentences, but by this point they should be pretty good at doing that, and it's just going to continue to get a little more difficult. So here we have the main idea, practice with the main idea, practice with order in paragraphs. Then we learn how to start writing letters, like here's a friendly letter. Information paragraph, how-to paragraph. And remember, this is just grade 2 right here. Persuading paragraph. And we are at a new unit. Research skills, words in ABC order. Practice with ABC order using a dictionary. And as you can see with using a dictionary, it's going to give several pages of practice on that because that does take a little bit longer to get used to. Then we go to using an encyclopedia, parts of a book, kinds of books, fact or fantasy. And yeah, so all of the answers are in the back of the book for you to check it if you're not sure what the answers are yourself. And yeah, so that is the second grade one. I'm just going to quickly page through the rest of them because I think you get the gist of what's in them. But this way, you know, again, if you have a child in one of these grade levels, you will have an idea of what they will be doing. So for the grade 4 one, in the parts of speech, we do nouns and common nouns and proper nouns. And again, I'm going to skip pages. I'm not going through all of them. Pronouns, which is page 2, so as you can see, it's continued from before. Subject pronouns, special forms of adjectives that compare, verbs, helping verbs, main and helping verbs, adverbs that compare, adverb or adjective. And then we're starting in with the next unit, which is sentences. What is a sentence? Compound predicates, simple, complete, and compound predicates. Agreement of subject pronouns with verbs, combining sentences with the same subject. I'm like kind of flipping through quickly because I'm sure that you're probably like, okay, get on with it. Avoiding sentence fragments and run-on sentences. And then we're at the next unit, which is mechanics, capital letters for proper nouns. Which I do have to say, they also have the kids learning that in the beginning too, in this section, because I know that I've been doing the capital letters with them too there. So capital letters for proper nouns, periods, abbreviations, and initials. More uses for commas, question marks, and exclamation points. Colons and apostrophes, contractions with not. And then we move on to vocabulary and usage, where they start with compound words and synonyms, suffixes, homographs, troublesome words, negatives. So as you can see, there's a lot of repetition, but obviously it's going to get, it's going to go up in difficulty level. Avoiding wordy language, adding describing words to sentences, using figurative language. Then we go to writing, the writing unit, paragraphs, narrative, descriptive paragraphs, friendly letters. So as you can see, here's a how-to paragraph. It gives so much practice and so much information about all of the aspects of language arts. Information paragraph, cause and effect paragraph, book report, persuasive paragraph, writing for a test. Ugh, I hate that even has to be in here. Using a dictionary is the beginning of the research skills unit. Again, using a dictionary, using a thesaurus, an encyclopedia, using the internet, parts of a book, reading for information. And yeah, so that's what this 4th grade one looks like. And again, they all have the answers in the back. Here we're at the 5th grade one. And I'm going to, again, try to go through this a little bit more quickly because I know this is probably getting redundant, but we have the parts of speech, nouns, common nouns and proper nouns, object pronouns, subject or object pronoun, which tense is it, irregular verbs. So again, remember, this is 5th grade. Adverb or adjective, prepositions. I can see we're starting a new unit here soon. Okay, so next we're at the next unit, which is sentences. What is a sentence? Is it a sentence? Simple and compound sentences, kinds of sentences. Subjects and imperative sentences. Agreement of subjects and verbs. Combining sentences with the same subject or predicate. Combining adjectives and adverbs in sentences. Avoiding sentence fragments and run-on sentences. Correcting run-on sentences. And then we start in with the new unit, which is mechanics. And then we have capitalization of names and titles of people and pets, capitalization of proper nouns and proper adjectives, question marks and exclamation points, apostrophes and colons. We're going to be at the next section now. Vocabulary and usage again. Start out with compound words, then homophones and homographs, more on homophones. These books you can find on Amazon. Words with multiple meanings, troublesome words. You could probably find it even maybe like on eBay, but I've already gotten them at Barnes & Noble too. That's where I used to get them. And Barnes & Noble does give an educator discount. Negatives, avoiding wordy language. And then we go on to the unit, the new unit, let's see, of writing. And again, I'm just going to show you again, paragraphs, keeping to the topic, using details to explain, narrative, descriptive paragraph, how-to paragraph. So a lot of it is the same again, but it's just, it's just going to get a little bit harder and they're going to start expecting more and they're probably going to have more writing too as they are older. And then you finish up with research skills. So lots of practice in the same concepts. Okay, and the last one, grade 6. And this is probably going to be like my fastest flip through of them all. So we've got Unit 1. Just going to flip through and I'm just going to show you. Here, this is something, well, I might have skipped it in the other books, but principal parts of verbs. So like hiking, hiked, hiked. present, past, and future tense, transitive and intransitive verbs, adverbs, prepositions and prepositional phrases. Let me see. Here's the new unit. So recognizing sentences, 4 kinds of sentences, interjections, avoiding sentence fragments and run-on sentences, compound and complex sentences. And then we've got mechanics, starting with capitalization and end punctuation. Some of these sections are obviously longer than others. I have a feeling that the writing ones are probably going to be the longest as they get, higher up in grade level. Abbreviations, more abbreviations, and then we start in with vocabulary and usage, synonyms and antonyms. So this vocabulary one looks really short in this one. Idioms, subject, verb, agreement. And then, then we start in. Now, remember, I'm not showing you the whole unit. I'm skipping pages. So it wasn't only like 3 pages. It just looks that way because of how I did it. Then here we have Unit 5, writing, personal narrative, descriptive paragraph, proofreading. There's a graphic organizer. Persuasive letter writing, persuasive essay proofreading, persuasive essay graphic organizer, persuasive essay writing, poem proofreading. So it gets a little bit more detailed, like I said. Essay questions, writing to prompts, and then you finish up with research skills. So parts of a book, using a dictionary, using a computerized card catalog, taking notes, analyzing a textbook, using the internet, and the answer key. So these are a very frugal way for you to teach language arts to your kids, but just because they are inexpensive does not mean that they are not worth getting, because I am telling you, I much prefer these to language arts textbooks. They include so much information in them. The kids enjoy them, and they do not take forever to get done. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube disables my comments. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.